Today's walk is Thieves Moss, Moughton Scars and Norber Erratics from Clapham in the Yorkshire Dales. Before we start, let's have a look at where we're walking today. We leave Clapham, taking a short climb up a walled lane. We then head left to walk along Long Lane, a track which forms part of the Pennine Bridleway. The Cairn, shortly after leaving Long Lane, affords views of Ingleborough and Little Ingleborough. This wonderful 360 panorama also takes in Pen-y-ghent on the horizon in the direction of Moughton Scars. We continue walking along the Pennine Bridleway, where Thieves Moss and Moughton Scars can be seen over to the right. We wend our way through the limestone pavement and outcrops of Thieves Moss to arrive at Beggar Stile. From here we head across Crummack Dale to arrive at Norber, where many unusual erratics can be found. Erratics are rocks that have been transported by glaciers in the movement of ice and are usually a different composition to the underlying bedrock on which they came to rest. Stay watching until the end to see where you can eat and drink after the walk. Back in the pay and display car park in Clapham in the Yorkshire Dales, we leave the car park by passing by the side of the toilets and then passing by the lake house, bar and kitchen. We then turn right onto the road. St James Church was originally built in 1829 before being destroyed in the Battle of Britain in 1940. The church was rebuilt and reopened again in 1958. With St James Church in front of us, we turn right off this road to head along the track that bends around to the left and then shortly afterwards passes through two tunnels. Watch your footing through these two short tunnels, as the ground is a little uneven in places. We then walk up the walled track. As the track flattens, it splits. The track straight on here goes to Oswick and forms part of our return route. For now though, we just turn left to walk down Long Lane. Long Lane initially descends, affording views over to the right of Robin Proctor's Scar. The walled Long Lane is just over a mile long. If you enjoy these videos, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you know when any new walks have been uploaded. It's free to subscribe and your likes and comments really do help our channel. From time to time, stop just to look around to see the additional views the small height gain has afforded us. Pass through the gate. Over to the left here, you can see the entrance to Ingleborough Cave down below. If you check out our Ingleborough walk from Clapham, we do walk past the entrance of the cave. If you have any thoughts about this walk, or find any issues with any of the footpaths used, please share that with us down in the comments below. Just before the end of Long Lane, over a stile that leads down onto Clapdale Drive below, you can see the entrance to Trowgill. Keep on along Long Lane until you reach another gate. Pass through the gate. We turn right once through the gate to walk up the grassy path in the direction of the cairn just visible on the horizon. Every so often, especially in the southern end of the Yorkshire Dales, you end up walking through some limestone. Just before passing through this next gate, if you look over to the left now, you get a good view of Ingleborough. Continuing around, you can see the top of Trowgill and the grassy path that we just walked up. Pass through the gate. Continue ahead, walking along the grassy path. In a short distance, the path splits. They rejoin a little further on, so it doesn't really matter which you take. Just before the wooden way marker, the path splits again. Take the right-hand path here, as we want to head by the cairn just on top of the hill. The paths do rejoin further on. If you want to visit the cairn, divert left a short distance off the main path. Straight ahead now, the silhouetted outline of Pen-y-ghent comes into view on the horizon. Pen-y-ghent, along with Whernside and Ingleborough, make up what is known as the Yorkshire Three Peaks, a 24-mile round trip with over 1,500 metres of climbing. From the cairn, Ingleborough and Little Ingleborough can be seen. This wonderful 360 panorama also takes in Pen-y-ghent on the horizon in the direction of Moughton Scars. From the cairn, head back down to and turn left along the grassy path we were just on. Ignore the path coming in from the right here. A short distance further on, the path splits with Pen-y-ghent directly ahead. We are going to take the left-hand fork here towards the man in the distance, but if you wanted to cut the walk short and miss Thieves Moss and Moughton Scars, the path to the right heads down the 600 metres or so to Crummack, and you could rejoin our walk there. I'll point that out when I get there. Looking in that direction, you can now see Pendle Hill on the horizon. Taking the left-hand fork, we just continue along the grassy path. At the wooden way marker, we are going to continue straight on. The path from the left here is the left-hand path split we left earlier just before the cairn. For a short diversion, heading up behind the way marker provides you with a superb view over the limestone pavement towards Ingleborough. Head back down to the wooden way marker and turn left, heading on in the same direction. little further on, just before the next wooden way marker, there is another path off to the right. This again heads down to Crummack and meets the other path. The path off to the left, just beyond the wooden way marker, formed part of our return route on our Ingleborough walk from Clapham video. Ignore that and just continue along the wide grassy path, generally in the direction of Pen-y-ghent ahead. Site. The route of today's Thieves Moss, Moughton Scars and Norber Erratics walk from Clapham is set out on an Ordnance Survey map along with a GPS download for your phone or GPS device. The links for our Walks for All website is down in the description below. If you are new to hiking or just want ideas for what walking gear to wear and take on your walk, check out our kit list recommendations in the description below. At the next way marker, walk straight on. Over to the right, the limestone pavement at Thieves Moss and Moughton Scars are now more in view in front of Pen-y-ghent. Grassy path pulls in alongside a wall, over which you now have an even better view of the limestone pavement. As you reach the wall with the stile and gate ahead, turn right here to pass through the small wooden gate in the right hand wall. Before heading down to the limestone pavement, take time to enjoy the views. Pendle Hill is visible on the horizon and the top of Moughton Scars are visible at the far end of the limestone pavement. We are going to drop down onto Thieves Moss and then turn right to head through the limestone pavement to Beggar Stile. There is another path before that skirts more of the limestone that you could use if you wish. Head down now onto Thieves Moss. Pass over the first path, and then a short distance afterwards there's a sketchy path that heads off to the right. Turn right here to start heading through the limestone. The path does become a little more obvious after a short distance. It is believed that Thieves Moss got its name as it was once used as a showground for the sale of stolen sheep and cattle in the area. The limestone pavement itself was formed over many years by the scouring action of glaciers, which, on their retreat, revealed a flat limestone landscape. Then, over the years, water and chemical weathering has created, widened and deepened cracks to form fissures or gaps in the limestone, which are known as grikes. The exposed blocks of limestone left behind are called clints. Be careful with your footing when walking through the limestone. It can be very slippery when wet. We meet another path here coming through the limestone. Just turn right and keep on the grassy path. After a few hundred metres, you arrive at Beggar Stile. Over the Stile, you can see down towards Crummack, over Crummack Dale, with the distinctive outline of Pendle Hill on the horizon. I pointed out earlier the shortcut that you could have taken over to Crummack. Some of you with dogs may well want to do this because this isn't the most dog-friendly of stiles. It doesn't look too bad from this side, but when you pass over the stile, it is about a 7-8 foot drop onto stones. We head away from the stile now, across the field, basically just keeping on a straight line. Looking behind now, you get a much better view of Moughton Scars. Eventually, path pulls in by a wall, pass over the stile in the wall. From the stile, if you look to the right, you can see 2 footpaths merging. These are the 2 footpaths I mentioned earlier in the walk if you wanted to shorten your walk and miss Thieves Moss, to just cut straight across to Crummack. On now, by the side of the wall. Those 2 footpaths join us at this wooden footpath sign. Pass through this first gate and then onto and through the second wooden gate. then head along 2 and then start heading down the road. The first part of this track forms part of the Dales Highway, a 90 miles long walk starting in Saltaire in West Yorkshire and ending at Moot Hall in Appleby in Westmoreland in Cumbria. Pass over the cattle grid or through the gate at the side of it. At a track junction, we do carry straight on. The track off to the left here heads towards Wharf and then on towards Helwyth Bridge. Behind, you can see Moughton Scars and the track that we just walked down. After a while, by a Thieves Moss footpath sign, the road becomes tarmacked underfoot. Then, as the road starts to descend a little more steeply, there are 2 footpath signs, one on either side of the road. We are going to turn right here and follow the right-hand sign. The left footpath here heads the half a mile or so over to Oswick. Head up to and then pass over the stone stile built into the wall, following the footpath sign to Norber. Follow the path now along the side of the wall. The footpath passes through Norber Scars. Head through the gap in the wall and then diagonally across this small field towards the stone stile on the wall ahead. Over the stone stile, you get your first sight of the erratics and what lies ahead. Once over the stile, turn left to head down the side of the wall. At the bottom of this next short, steeper section, take the right-hand fork in the path to head over to the four-way signpost. Signpost, we're going to take a short diversion up the hill to Norber. The path heads up and then bends around to the right to pass by this first real erratic. Just walk ahead now and take time to explore the area and wander around the many different shaped erratics here at Norber. There are well over 100 Norber Erratics, and they are probably the best examples of erratics in the UK. Erratics are rocks that have been transported by glaciers and the movement of ice, and then deposited at a new location. They are usually a different composition to the underlying bedrock on which they came to rest, but sometimes it can be the same stone. The limestone pedestal here is now protected from further erosion by the umbrella effect of the overhanging stone on top. You do have to wonder how some of the pedestals hold that much weight above them. If you look over the wall at the far end of the erratic field, you can see back up to Moughton Scars, where we walked down from earlier. From here, we turn around now and head back down through the erratics, and then back down to the four-way signpost we left earlier on. Time on reaching the signpost, we turn right following the footpath to Clapham sign. The path here heads down to and pulls in just to the right hand side of the wall. Pass over the stile and keep straight on. Up to the right here is Robin Proctor's scar. The path follows and then leaves the wall as the wall bends around to the left. It then heads across the field just to the left of the two large rocks. Pass over the wall stile just to the left of the gate in the wall, and then turn right along the lane. Over to the right here is Robin Proctor's scar. with supposedly the scar being named after a local farmer who lived in Crummack Dale. He would ride his horse every night down to the local inn. Many times he came back drunk and often fell asleep on the horse and from time to time fell off it. The horse, walking the route it knew many times, knew the way. Then, one night after getting very drunk, he came out of the inn and got on the wrong horse. In bad weather, the horse wandered along the lanes and over the moors until eventually heading over the edge of the scar, Robbie Proctor's scar. This lane we're walking along is Thwaites Lane and forms part of the Pennine Bridleway and a Pennine journey. The Pennine Bridleway is a 205-mile trail from Middleton Top in Derbyshire to Ravenston Dale in Cumbria, with its full length officially opened in 2012 by Martin Clunes, the then president of the British Horse Society. Whereas the Pennine Journey is a 247-mile trail starting and ending in Settle in the Yorkshire Dales. It is based on a 211-mile walk Alfred Wainwright undertook in 1938 and then later wrote a book about, called The Pennine Journey, The Story of a Long Walk in 1938. The book was eventually published in 1986. Over to the right now. Again, Ingleborough is in view. And now over to the right, you can see the long lane, the track that we walked up earlier. On meeting the track junction, this time we veer slightly left and continue straight on. You may notice on the floor here a new Pennine Way Bridleway sign to Orswick and Clapham that will be replacing the old sign we saw at the start of the walk. Walk on now down the wall track back into Clapham. On reaching the road, we turn left to head back down towards the car park. Before ending today's walk, let's have a look, as promised, where we can eat and drink nearby. The first place is on the corner of the car park itself, the Lake House Bar and Kitchen. It's dog friendly and specialises in local real ales, small brewery craft ales and real cider. It offers food all day long, including their specialty pizzas. I've just noticed there's a new sign on the wall since the last time I was here, showing Clapham Village. I don't think they open every day of the week though. If you exit the car park and turn left and head towards the white building at the end of the road, you quickly reach the Croft Cafe. It was closed when I passed and looked like it maybe hadn't been open recently. I may be wrong though. Take a look if you are there, and if you know any more, please let me know in the comments below. Just past that is the new inn, which has accommodation and I believe is dog friendly. It serves brunch 10 till 12, lunch 12 till 3 and evening meals 5 till 9. It serves coffees, teas, a range of ales and gins from around the world. There are a few seats at the front and then a beer garden around the back. Next to the new inn, not food and drink but worth pointing out, is the Cave Rescue Organisation and Mountain Rescue Post. Should you ever need them, as the sign says, dial 999, ask for the police, who will then alert the local mountain rescue team. Heading back towards the car park is the Market Cross. The base is believed to date from around when Clapham was granted market status in 1201, whereas the cross itself was erected in 1897 to mark Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. If you brought your own sandwiches, the bench in front of it is an excellent place just to sit and watch the water go by. Just over the bridge, if you didn't bring your own food, is the Clapham Village Store. Just to the left of the bridge, when you're heading back over it, you can see the fish water fountain, erected in 1897 to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Victoria. Final place to eat and drink is the Old Sawmill Cafe. Head from the car park, as we did at the start of the walk, to the church, but this time turn left in front of the church. Head along to meet the road junction. On meeting the road, turn right, where shortly you will get a view across to Clapham Falls. A man-made falls constructed in 1837 as part of the remodelling of the Ingleborough estate. A few yards further on, you reach the Old Sawmill Cafe. It's open 9:30 to 4:30 each day, except for a short period over Christmas. It's dog friendly, serves teas, coffees, has a small menu and cake bakes. It also has outside seating. Just before ending today's walk, we've put together a short fly-through created using the Ordnance Survey app, the link for which is in the description below, to show you where you've been and give the area a little more perspective. We started in the pay and display car park in Clapham in the Yorkshire Dales. We turned right out of that and then right again in front of the church before turning left to head along Long Lane. We followed that for just over a mile before turning right to head along the grassy Pennine Bridleway. which we followed along to Thieves Moss. We turn right to drop down onto Thieves Moss and then through Moughton Scars. Walk down through Crummack Dale. As mentioned earlier in the walk, if you wanted to shorten the route to miss Moughton Scars and Thieves Moss, over to the right here you can see our outward path that you can divert off to drop down to this farm at Crummack. We continued on down the road before turning right to head over to Napper Scars and then on to Norber. We then return to the four-way signpost, this time turning right to head back then along the walled lane back down into Clapham. Ends our walk for today.